Passion, talent, influence.
That's what we're here to recognize.
A movement that lives right in our own backyard.
Southwest Florida.
So put your glasses up.
Let's give a toast.
Toast to the innovators.
Toast to the creators.
Toast to the go-getters.
The people who wake up every day with a passion to create.
Not for themselves, but for the benefit of the community.
A community that has no limits.
So let's kick back
and toast
to the Goodfellas. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Southwest Florida, and those listening around the nation. It is your boy, Alan.
It's your boy, Nicholas.
And I know this one's a little different now as what we're used to, but obviously everybody knows about what's going on right now with the coronavirus, and safety's first, so it's better to just do these remotely now and, not really come in contact with many people because, as we know, you can be a carrier and you wouldn't even know. There's a whole bunch of shit that's been going around, right, Nick? Like all types of information.
Absolutely. And, we're doing our part in trying to practice social distancing. So this remote podcast is going to be, the new normal until things change. But, with all the craziness that's going on in our world right now, we need to be, like a foundation of, consistency for not only for our audience, but, for the people of Southwest Florida. They expect us to be able to, relay the creative minds, the entrepreneurs, the go-getters, where they want to see what's possible with a little bit of motivation. So we need to bring that to them. And I think this is going to be the perfect outlet in the perfect way. So shout out to you, Alan, because you brought this whole video podcasting idea to fruition. So I'll give you some credit there.
Yeah, we're finally getting on. I know we promised y'all a video, and it came sooner than expected. But we're definitely in the future trying to record more with video and post it on YouTube for y'all. So, but regardless, for this interview, we had to do it remote anyways, right, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have a really awesome guest on our podcast episode today, and I'm excited to get him introduced. Do you want to do the honors, Alan?
I'll let you do the honors, my guy.
All right. So some of y'all might know him. We know him as one of our fraternity brothers, but he's much more than just a fraternity brother. This guy is an entrepreneur. He is a musical artist. He's a creator. This guy is a culturalist. There's just so many names I can give to him, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself. His name is Chris Catlin. Christian, you wanna say what's up to the people?
What up, everybody? So that's pretty much me. Pretty much hit the nail on the head. I'm Chris Catlin. I'm an artist, musician, entrepreneur, I guess, like you said. Overall, just trying to be the best person I can be at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So that's just who I am.
Yeah, so where you at right now, man? You're not in Southwest Florida anymore.
I'm not. I'm in Los Angeles, all the way on the West Coast,
Damn, bro. Damn. I love LA, bro. LA, it's a very chill vibe, but at the same time, it's the city life. So it's pretty loud, and I can tell there's a lot of competition out there, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of like not so good to LA. I think overall it's like if you came out here for a reason, it's great, but there's pros and cons to it for sure. I miss Florida though, I ain't gonna lie. Like the culture of Florida, man, it's unbeatable, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel you like what
like the way I feel like it is like Florida, we're more diverse in Florida, like.
You think so?
For sure. Here's why. Like in Florida, you have people like you're from Puerto Rico, Alan, you're Nicaraguan, I'm from Trinidad. We got Jamaican friends, we got, friends from all over, Mexican friends, and we all mingle with each other. I feel like that's a kind of more common in Florida. Here, it is diverse. Like there's a lot of Asians, Mexicans, this, that, but they stay in their own communities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot of it's segregated diversity.
Okay. So like in New York where they have like a Little Italy and Chinatown, things of that nature. That's the only places you're gonna find them.
I mean, Yeah, like kind of. It's not like that's the only places they're gonna find them. It's just like socially they're gonna stick with each other. You know,
It
people
makes
kind of.
sense.
Yeah, it's kind of
That
like
was a
Miami
culture
too.
shock for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. When I came out here, that was a hell of a culture shock. I was like, you
Yeah,
know,
I wouldn't expect that, to be honest. So that's interesting.
I
So
didn't. I
yeah,
think there's
like
a lot of misconceptions about Los Angeles as a whole, but that was one of them that I was like, oh shit, I didn't expect like the social climate to be at like what it was, you know?
so would you say like the camaraderie out there, you know, in regards to what you're trying to do out there with music, it's not as connected as it is
Well,
here.
it is, but it isn't. Like, there's so much opportunity in Los Angeles, and there's so many people making music and doing art, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
People come from all over the country to be in LA and pursuing art. And people come out here with the mindset to like blow up, you know? So I think a lot of people kind of like lose track of other things when they're out here thinking about that, you know? And so you kind of gotta like weed out who's just here to like come up off you, or like who's like an actual like genuine person, you know? So
Yeah.
True. Do you feel like you had any practice of that here in Southwest Florida or Sarasota? Right, you're from Sarasota, right?
yeah, but I'm from Southwest
Yeah,
Florida. Like
Southwest
I
Florida. There you go.
represent Southwest Florida, dog.
Hey,
I
what it
represent
do?
South
Let's
Florida. Like
go. Even though I'm not from here, but yeah,
to me, it's like
but I
to me,
see you
it's
repping.
like I feel a much stronger connection when I meet somebody from Southwest Florida than when I
Mhm.
meet somebody from Sarasota or Bradenton. You know?
True,
Mm-hmm.
true, true. It's funny because when I go to New York, like it's so different. So like I feel like an outcast in terms of like how I talk and just how my mannerisms is because I'm genuinely a nice person.
Yeah.
But when I remember the first time I even went back to New York as like an adult, somebody had asked me directions, right? And I was giving them the directions, right? And my sister's like, "Yo, you don't do that. Like, just tell them to fuck off, and you keep walking." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, all
Like
right."
that's the thing. Like here, that's another difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. And it's not just me that says this. I've talked to a lot of like East Coasters out here in LA, and we all had like kind of the same opinion. On the East Coast, if somebody asks you for directions, or if somebody like says, "Hey, what's up?" and you don't want to talk to them, you're just like, "Fuck off," you know, like straight
Right.
up. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they're straight up with you. But here, it's like people would just like be weird about it, like be fake, like people ask you for directions and they'll like look at you funny and keep walking rather than being like, hey, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you. You know?
Okay,
It's like
okay.
yeah, it's just it's there, man. It's there. It's not
So
as
they kill you with kindness then,
kind of yeah.
kind of by not saying nothing.
Yeah. It's kind of just it's a little more real. Like we're just a little more real on the East Coast, man. To be honest, to be real, like
I would definitely
Hey
say
man,
that.
I mean, yeah,
and,
I
and
be
it's
I be
nothing
repping
against
out
like
here, bro, for sure.
it's
I be
nothing
repping
against
Florida
like West
hard.
Coast, but it just
Yeah.
is.
I appreciate someone being real
I
versus
will
someone being fake.
exactly. I will say that it's not more or less. It's not the people who are from LA though. The people
Hmm.
who are like from LA, born and raised, are pretty dope people.
Mhm.
From like what I've seen, it's a lot of like. But most people aren't from LA in LA.
Hmm.
They're like from Indiana or from wherever to come out here and be an actor and type shit.
So how's the music taste out there in LA compared to here? Because I know here, because I've traveled to California and like
Right.
all across the country really, and I always say and I see and the same thing with our frat too, like the southeast of the United States is just more Caribbean, would you
Yeah,
say?
without a
More
doubt.
Caribbean, people from the island and all that. So your
Yeah.
music ties into that, you know, whereas in California, I feel like there's a lot more, we'll say we could Mexican, Central American, you know,
For sure,
Asian, obviously.
definitely.
So how is that? Have you brought that taste there? Is there a lot of that genre out there in LA?
There's not. There's not. There's not a lot of like people making like the type of music I make, like that whole like island dancehall reggae wave. Reggae,
Yeah.
there's some reggae, but not the same type of reggae that we listen to in the Caribbean. It's different. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing that there's not a lot of it. you know,
Mm-hmm.
because that kind of makes me stand out with my sound a little bit more because I can do that like island thing. It's like in my blood, you know. But I think out here, most of like what you hear, everything is very like pop influence. It's like very pop like influence and like R&B too, R&B, hip hop, but like that West Coast type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like, from when I'm like in the studio with people, I hear a lot of like real West Coast sound and stuff. Like if you listen like YG type stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there's definitely like a difference in like what people listen to. There's not a lot of West Indians at all out here.
True.
For sure.
So I got a question for you, Christian. When did you start really, you know, making music and like falling in love with music?
I started like making music when I was a kid. I was in like 3rd grade or 4th grade. I started playing drum set. And so like I was always surrounded by music. And growing up, my dad is like a really good guitar player. So I was always like surrounded by it. My mom and my dad really, but my dad is like really amazing at guitar. So I always had like a very like musical like life kind of. And my culture, being from Trinidad, that's like a huge part of the Trinidad culture is music, like enormous part of that culture. So I always had that like in my life and like in my head, and, like kind of in my blood. I feel like I didn't start like writing my own music though until I was like 15, 14, or we were like chilling with the homies and we would like smoke and like freestyle and shit. That's when like it started. Like, yeah, we would like smoke and like freestyle, and that's when I realized like, oh, I'm kind of good at this shit. Like this, I can write my own.
I got bars.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was like, damn, I got some bars. Like, I'm kind of dope. And then like after that, I started like writing for fun, you know. Like,
bro, I remember when I was a freshman at FGCU, right? I met Christian, Building E, bro, Building E. Yeah, Building E, Northlake. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this guy, bro, over here? He thinks he's the shit. And like, I met you, bro. You're most down to earth person. Like that, for some reason, I had this perception that you thought you were full of yourself. But then I met you. I was like, yo, this is the total opposite of what I thought this guy was gonna be like. And then you put me on to one of your songs. It was like a Rugrats freestyle.
Oh,
I was like,
what about that shit?
Yeah. It's on YouTube. Go look that shit up.
It's still on YouTube. It is still on YouTube.
Yo,
bro, I heard. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna tell the audience a funny story that us three were involved in. So Hurricane Irma came in 2017. And us three and along with many others, we evacuated to Jacksonville. So we were in Fort Myers, and I remember we were sitting in our apartment, like, man, do we want to stay here? They're saying we were in a warning zone or something like that, in the evacuation zone, and we're just like, man, we're debating it. I know Nick had his dog, and we're just like, yo, we gotta take, I don't know how many cars we gotta take. There's not much gas that's available. Like, the hurricane's coming tomorrow, so we just got up and went to Jacksonville. We had a family, we had a friend, what happened?
I remember, like, we were like, fuck it, we're gonna stay here. I remember we were like, no.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
We're gonna
We all
stay
bought
here.
some
Like,
shit.
we heard on the news that it turned into a Category 5, and it was going right for Fort Myers. And
It was coming right at us.
Out,
So we're in, all of us. It was like like 8 of us, I think, right? And we're just like, yo, are we staying? We're yelling at each other. We're here, just like, all right, debating. So like, I bet, let's go to Jacksonville. We had a friend over there that their family let us stay. And so we went all the way over there to Jacksonville. We got the beds, we put them against the windows and all that. We're like, fuck it, man. We just tore up the crib, got our ass to Jacksonville. We ended up finding gas on the way, and we made this cipher, one of these days.
Yo, I remember that.
Yeah, man. My shit was trash as fuck. I think it's on YouTube though. And we were all involved in it.
It better not be on YouTube.
I don't know if it's on YouTube or not. But,
bro, that shit was wild. I remember that. I remember for some reason they put me into Hummer, and I was like coming out of the Hummer.
I remember that. I remember that shit. But
Yo, it was raining and shit. I was like, I want to be out here.
Yeah, so we spent like a
Like,
week out
get
there
me
in
out of here,
Jacksonville.
bro.
We spent a week out there in Jacksonville, and one of those days we did like a cipher. We spent like all day doing this damn cipher, bro.
Literally, bro.
Y'all had bars. Y'all had bars. Christian had bars. Nick had bars. Me, man, not so much. Not so. I felt the pressure too much, man. I felt the
Bro,
pressure.
I'm not gonna lie though. That was one of the dopest weeks ever, bro.
I
That week
agree.
in Jacksonville, that shit was amazing, bro. Like I know we were just trying to like, be safe and like save ourselves from the hurricane, but like that was such a fun week, bro.
Yeah, and thank God that we actually got there because when we came back, bro, it was madness. Like in Fort
Crazy.
Myers, like
Yeah,
It
man.
power
was.
was
Yeah.
out for like a couple days. There's nothing in the grocery stores. Like all the fucking trees were like
It
down.
was like the zombie apocalypse when we came back, bro. It was
Yeah, man, that shit was wild. That
Yeah,
shit was
man.
wild.
Yo,
But
Chris,
I,
you just released a single, right?
yeah,
yeah,
Just
yeah,
not too
yeah,
long ago.
yeah, yeah. It's called Gyal. I did it with this producer named Orion. He's
Orion, okay.
super dope ass producer. He's from Israel, and we just like it was super dope. Literally the first day that I met him once, like random. I went out to eat, and he like came with one of his friends, and that's how I met him. And then literally after that, we're like, let's work one day. And I was at like a random bar, and he FaceTimed me while I was at the bar, and I was like, oh, fuck, who's this? I remember who he was, but I was like, why is he FaceTiming me? And then I answered it, and he was like, yo, come through tomorrow. Let's cook. And I was like, shit, okay. The next day, I literally like went to his house, and we made that whole song in like 2 hours.
that's dope.
Really?
Dope as
That
fuck.
song is dope.
Did you?
We're gonna give you links to this song and to your profile, so our listeners can listen to that song.
Well, at the end of it, we'll give Chris the option to let us know what he wants to play. He wants to play Gyal if he wants to play one of his
Guys,
hottest tracks. He has
Yeah,
many hot tracks that he's released. And they're all on Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, right?
yeah. All across the board.
bro, describe. I want to know what was running through your mind, like when you released that first song and you saw like people were like listening to it.
Bro, okay. I mean, when I first, I think like the first song that I started, at least like the style, my style now, the first song I released that like had that sound was White Rum.
Yeah,
Right?
I remember that.
Like I just put it out. Like I had that song, like I was sitting on it for like a couple months, and then I talked to Gyal, right? And he was just like, just release it, bro. Because if you don't release it now, you're just gonna sit on it forever. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I made like a cover art on my phone, and then I just like released it. And I was like, man, no one's even gonna listen to this shit. I put it out, and it got like 10,000 views, and I was like, bro, that feeling is like, that was like the best feeling ever. Like to know that like people genuinely like that music. There are people who listen to that song that didn't know me, and to me, that was like everything.
Yeah, man. I think that's
That's
a good
dope.
thing about you being in LA, and not a lot of people do your type of music, dance hall, reggae, type of vibe.
Well,
Because
here's
it's
my
a
take on
niche,
it.
right?
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing in a way. Like, for example, in Miami, there's a bunch of Cuban sandwich spots, right? So to go and get a good Cuban sandwich, to be a Cuban sandwich spot in Miami, to
Mhm.
be relevant, you have to be a really good Cuban sandwich spot because there's hella other Cuban sandwich spots. In
Mhm.
LA, all you have to do is be a Cuban sandwich spot, and you're gonna get business. So like, I think it's a double-edged sword because I think if I had like competition, other people doing that same thing, I think it would help me grow a little bit. But at the same time, being out here helps me like take elements from a lot of other types of music because I'm surrounded by a bunch of other stuff.
How do you market yourself out there? How do you market your music? How do you like for a beginner trying to get started in the music industry, and being in that big city right now? How do you go about, getting your music out there for everybody to hear?
I mean, primarily through social media, bro. You know,
Mhm.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like social media is like the way I do it, and then like through playlisting and stuff like that. Having like your music on a playlist, if I just pitch it out like people I know. Like, let's say I drop a song, I'm pushing it on social media, but not as hard as I'm like sending it to people who I know are like people who have some type of pull or like have some type, like, for example, I'll send it to you guys. You guys are like people who are in a creative space. I'm sending it to those people who are like living and working in this like entertainment industry. So I feel like that is, to me, more important than just like blasting it to everybody on social media.
Yeah.
You know, I think like personally sending out to different people who I know, especially the people who I know are like, you know, kind of like in the same space as me, I think it's important.
That's dope, bro. Like every time you send me music, bro, like when I have time, I listen to it because you already know I'm like a music connoisseur, so I'm always looking for like new songs and things to listen to because I share that with like all the people I know because pretty much everybody I know all loves music too. So like, shit, I listen to music cleaning, I listen to music at work, I listen to music pretty much maybe 50% of my day every day. So. I'm like always listening to music.
You know
So every
what I
time you send
wonder?
me something, I do start share it.
You know what I
actually
wonder?
just downloaded a bunch of songs that you posted on your story the other day, Nick. I think yesterday.
Hey.
Yeah, if you haven't followed Nick's page, you don't follow Nick's page, you should follow because he gives some really good recommendations on music.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Really good. He puts you on. He puts people on. He's put me on a
You
bunch of
you
tracks.
put me on to a good amount of songs in my life, for sure.
Good. I appreciate
Yo,
that.
hey Chris, you know what I'll be wondering, bro. You know how because you say you just really market through social media and you just send it to people like in the entertainment industry, and I feel like your music is genuinely really good, bro. Like, and I'm not saying that because I've known you for 5 years or you're part of my frat and all that. Like, I'm not just saying that shit, bro. I genuinely enjoy your fucking music, bro. So
That shit bumps.
how do like some let's use for example like mumble rappers, right? How the hell do they make it so big? What do you think they do?
Dude,
What do they do different?
I don't know. There's like no blueprint to this shit. You know what I mean? So I think like some people like blow up by like going viral or just being like super extra with everything. Like Lil Pump with like smash car windows and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like he just builds a following. Like, it's some people, I don't know. To be honest, there's no blueprint. Like, I don't.
Think of like TikTok, the new wave. Like, how do people become like get viral on TikTok? They do new outlandish shit that nobody would even fathom of doing, and then now everybody's doing it.
Right.
You know, let's make. I don't want to like bash TikTok because that's a great social media platform.
Yeah.
But you know, they try to find ways to make themselves relevant, and I think that's the same thing in terms of like what musical artists do.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess you kind of gotta say, I guess the right person or right amount of people need to hear that, and then from there they share it on their platform, and then boom, their platform already has a bunch of followers and all that, and then that's how they get known. Because some of these artists that come out, man, like they're just. I'm like, yo, how the hell did they get known for that shit, bro?
Well,
like,
a lot of it's like
I don't know.
Bro. A lot of it's just branding, like.
But they don't brand. Some of them don't brand though. They just put some shit out. They say some stupid ass shit, and boom, they blow up. I'm like, how?
It could be.
I mean,
could be a catchphrase, bro. It could literally be a catchphrase.
Just be something as small as a catchphrase, then, because we've seen like Nick. We've been to many shows here in the area, and I'm like, damn, yo, this guy got hella bars. You know, like Chris, you got hella rhythm and flow. You know, he's got bars too, and I'm like, how is he not at the Breakfast Club? How's he not at the Breakfast Club right now?
But it's like the industry's different now. The industry now doesn't want bars. They don't want another J. Cole, another Kendrick, bro. We want another Young Thug. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why Gunna and Lil Baby are popping. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the industry's always like changing. You know, like it's all about like the hype. I think some people just have the hype behind them for whatever reason. For if they're like just be with a lot of famous people, like maybe you're in the studio with Future all the time. Your music's trash, but you got hype behind you. You can easily build a fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that hype mixed with repetition. I think builds that consistency,
For
and
sure.
that consistency builds a audience base. And then once you have that audience base, it just takes off from there because now that you got their attention, they're
For sure.
following you.
Exactly. It's the same way. It's easy to make money if you have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to grow your fan base if you have a fan base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like once you get fans, it's easy to multiply them.
Yeah.
So
That's how I feel about it.
So what advice would you give like somebody who was doing music out here in Southwest Florida, since it's not an area that's too big? Do you recommend them leaving the area at some point, or just kind of sticking through it to see if like something pops out of Fort Myers? I mean, Plies did it, right?
I mean, I feel like it's really up to you. I feel like I've grown way more as an artist since I left Fort Myers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm surrounded by artists. I'm surrounded by other people pushing through the music industry. So I've learned so much just by being around all these people, being in the studio all the time. Like when I was in Fort Myers, I couldn't be in the studio every day unless I had one in my house. You know what I mean? Because really there's like 2 or 3 recording studios in Fort, 2, 3, 4, whatever. You could count them on 2 hands, maybe, probably just 1 hand. Like the amount of recording studios in Fort Myers. While the community is very tight knit, it's the dopest artist community ever, I feel like. But it's still not like an entertainment hub like Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
So you, by all means, you can make it out of Fort Myers. You could do it anywhere, man. I just feel like it's up to the individual to feel like what they need. Like I wanted to grow, and I wanted to take matters into my own hands a little bit. I moved out here, and it was a great decision.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you think you learned in terms of this growth you're talking about there in LA? Can you give us like an example?
Yeah. So I think you don't really know what the entertainment industry is like until you move out here. You know? True.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really knows what it's like until they live here, maybe New York. I've never lived in New York. But I think for sure, like I feel like I know what the entertainment industry is like the vibe of the industry and like the way people are in the industry. I don't think like you can really get that from being in Fort Myers as much. That's one thing I definitely learned. Just to be more self-sustainable. Like when I first moved out here, I didn't have like the resources I had in Fort Myers. You know what I mean? As far as like the people I knew way more people in Fort Myers. I just moved to LA. I didn't know anybody. So I had to learn how to do a lot of things myself. So I learned how to record myself, learn how to mix myself, all that stuff. I mean,
that's dope.
So just kind of like you have your back against the wall, you figure your shit out, and then those are skills you keep with you forever. You know, now when I'm in a studio session, I have way better of like I can like be way more of an asset in that session to like help that song be great than before, because I feel like now I've done it more because you know I'm surrounded. It's also like I'm just trying to find an example.
I feel you though, because like when you're in the studio, I could totally understand where you're coming from. Because like in here, Fort Myers, when you're in the studio, you say you don't have that much time to actually be in the studio. So when the producer, the sound engineer is going through, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this a little cleaner, I'm gonna do this. You're kind of like brushing it off. Versus over there in LA, you say you have your back against the wall, you're learning these things on how to do it yourself. So now you know the lingo, you know the terminology. So when you're in the studio and you're putting together, a sound. Now you could picture and visualize that sound of exactly how you want to do it because now you have that knowledge of how to do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're more self-sustainable. I'm more self-sustainable now that I've been out here for so long, and I just don't have to rely on other people as much. You know.
Now here, when you're in Southwest Florida and you're just coming up, is there something you could take away in terms of some of the things you were able to learn just being here in Southwest Florida? I know you had a lot of connections here, but can you describe something you've learned here in Southwest Florida that is still with you today?
I would say, damn. So just from like the whole process of like starting and being in like the scene in Southwest Florida and then like moving to Los Angeles and kind of doing it here, I would say like don't let like anybody like, don't let like anybody else kind of determine your vision. You know what I mean? Like there was times where like I had a vision for things and like I had extreme like confidence about where I was going, and people who were more tenured in the music industry than me would not have the same vision as me, and I would feel like, damn, like I must be doing something wrong. Da 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 da. I would say don't ever let that shit deter you, for sure. Because like if you can visualize it, that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Your vision, that is the most important thing, single-handedly. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. That's one thing I definitely learned. Another thing I've also learned is, and I learned this also just from like moving to LA and like being like away from like all my family and friends, like by myself. I learned like like the entertainment industry is great, but like for sure you got to keep your friends close. Like keep your family and friends close no matter what. Like the entertainment industry, every industry really is like full of sharks, full of shady people. It's a business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, don't ever put that before your fam. Don't put that before your friends that like you truly ride with. You know what I'm saying? Like your family. Don't ever put the music industry shit before the real shit, real life. You know what I'm saying?
Is it hard to lose yourself over there in LA because of all the glitz and the glamour? Do you feel like it at times you're like, damn, where'd the time go?
Definitely time flies for sure, but I don't think I like lose myself. I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's like, it's not hard for me personally to like keep my like head on the ground. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of ego.
There's
a lot of ego out there, and
definitely.
just just ego.
There's some great things in Los Angeles. There's some great like people. There's some great, like I said, opportunities. Literally, you can manifest anything out here if you stay consistent and stay confident and faithful and positive. You can do anything, I think, out here. But there is hell of a lot of ego for sure. And like, you're like anybody I think who moves out here right away, I think automatically, like for sure, I think you're always gonna feel like, damn, did I make the right decision or not? Because there's like a fucking hill you got to go up first. Because like you get here and you're seeing all this, the ego, the bullshit, people who are so like Hollywood, and then after you've been here for a while, you know what's good. You've met some real people, and then things kind of you start to get in the flow of things, and then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Once you get over the hump, I think, you start to
a lot of our guests that we've had on, they had a similar, theme about Southwest Florida. They mentioned how Southwest Florida is a good, city to like get your bearings, like to start up, because not a lot of those same opportunities are available in bigger cities. Like, for example, if you want to book a venue to like perform, or like book a venue to like, have like an event, it's a little easier to do so in a smaller city in terms of like being able to, really connect with that, owner or of that venue. How would you describe that in terms of the differences between Southwest Florida and LA in that aspect?
It's just easier to build like those really meaningful connections in Southwest Florida because it's smaller. So it's easier to, I think, a little bit easier to be like a name in Southwest Florida. And then you have a little bit more pull, and you could be like, hey, like I've done this and that. Let's collaborate on this. But I think like for me, like I'm gonna end up back in Southwest Florida for sure at some point. But I'm gonna take everything that I grab here. I'm gonna bring it back to Southwest Florida with me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what people have to do to help the scene grow, I think.
Yeah. I know for sure. Like, I know there's still a lot of people that, follow you that we know. And like here, just in Southwest Florida, since you haven't been here, there's been so much growth in terms of like, creatives like being, more open and being more passionate about what they want to do. Wouldn't you agree, Alan?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like I said like earlier, like the talent here has been like, wow, like why aren't you known more? You know, it's mind-boggling to me. It's crazy. You know,
Like
I'm like, yo,
one thing I
I know.
noticed
Yeah, go ahead.
is like in LA, I met so many people who moved from like Indiana or Ohio, wherever, right? They moved to Los Angeles to start making music. They're like, oh yeah, I moved out here for music. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, do you have anything like online that I could hear? I want to hear your stuff. And they're like, oh, I haven't like made anything yet, which that's perfectly fine. But because of that, there's a lot of people who like, it's not everyone is extremely talented, but I feel like in Southwest Florida, like as a whole, like if we would have like a 99 rating on Madden, I feel like overall rating for sure.
Yo, so I know we mentioned earlier how you're also a musician, entrepreneur, and all that. So I know you had a I guess I wouldn't know how to explain this so well, but I'm wearing the hat right now, as you can see. Yeah. I'm gonna put it to the camera real quick.
Let them see.
Vibes. I know my hair is kind of messy, yo. Yeah, I haven't gotten the cut. You feel me? Hard times out here.
Cut, bro.
But vintage vibes, bro.
I got one too, bro. I got one too.
So can you take us through that? Because I know you guys are trying to sell apparel, kind of make it like a lifestyle brand, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys trying to bring that back? Are you trying to do something with it? In regards to being in LA, would that give you more ideas to kind of implement something to kind of expand that business or anything? And can you just explain to the people what it is?
So Vintage Vibes, it's a lifestyle brand. To me, it always has been like what OVO is to Drake, like Vibes is to me. So that's how I've always perceived Vibes, and that's always what I've wanted it to be. That's always been my vision for it. And yeah, for sure, like I think about it every day to like keep it going. We had a lot of people involved at some point, and like it was just hard to kind of like coordinate with everybody. We were all working multiple jobs, like trying to balance 10,000 things at once. But it's never gonna die as long as like it's never gonna go away. I think because I'm never gonna go away. I'm never gonna stop. So Vibes is never gonna stop as a lifestyle brand. I was actually talking today with Melvin and Ricardo about like getting things moving again for it. But yeah, I feel like before when we were doing Vibes, we were just like, let's put our foot on the gas. We don't know where we're going. Our hands ain't even on the wheel, but let's punch the gas. You know what I mean? So, but now we're going to kind of like map things out and,
Yeah, I know you, Ricardo, Melvin, and Gyal were, really involved in that. Y'all four are hella fucking creative, bro. Like, together, man. There's some creative fucking minds, but I get you, like, how important it is to kind of, have that time set aside and to be consistent. Because, even we run through those struggles with me and Nick sometimes, we just recording podcasts, like, I can imagine it with this.
It's harder when there's more people involved, for sure. But I think the most important part is like the vision, like I said before, and the creativity, the vision and the passion. Like if you can visualize it and you have like the energy and passion to like never get tired when you do it, that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? So that has never went away. The passion and the vision for Vibes has never went away. So I think it's like it's still alive. Like it's just asleep right now.
I'm repping, bro. I'm repping out here. You feel me? Because
you're in
with the hat too. So like,
like I wanted to.
Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say I wanted to highlight something because I don't think you get enough credit for this. So like, not only did you go to FGCU, but while you were attending FGCU, you were working on your music. Also, along with going to FGCU working on your music, you were working on this lifestyle brand. So not many people could wait, we got to add another thing. So not only were you, going to FGCU, working on your lifestyle brand and working on your music, you had a full-time job as well. So,
and I was with the frat. I was involved with it.
And you were part of fraternity, so you were part of doing extracurriculars on top of the extracurriculars on top of the extracurriculars. So there's a lot of things you were juggling. Not many people could balance, things like that all at once and be successful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because someone could always be a part of as many groups, but if they're not, passionate about it, they're not gonna be successful. But you were able to, to make something of yourself while doing all that stuff at the same time. So I wanted to give you some kudos, and I wanted to let our guests know the type of person we have here that's from Southwest Florida that, would be also going through the same coronavirus quarantine, but still finding ways to, to let that creativity shine. And so that's big props, man. Big props to you.
Hey man, I'll dap you up. I'll dap you up all the way, miles away from. Yo,
that Corona ball real quick.
That Corona ball. Everybody be doing the little footsies thing now, bro. No one even touching elbows anymore, bro.
Yeah.
You know what to make out of this Corona thing, low key. Like you just gotta stay inside, bro. And thank God, like my family's in Miami. Like, they're a little older, and obviously not as healthy. I try to keep myself healthy. Same thing with Mel and Solid, and like we're young, we're young people, we don't really get sick that much. So thank God. But I don't know, man. We're hoping it ends soon, but it can't stop, it can't stop me and Nick from creating as well as Christian. I know he's still out there, working. If he can't go outside, he's writing music, he's writing something, he's doing something, researching, studying, all that.
I think we just got to figure out ways to be positive about the whole coronavirus thing. Not only be positive, but if there's a way you can use it to your advantage, you should try to do that, bro. As creatives, we can use this to our advantage. Like, we could stay cooped up in the house all day. We're not missing out on nothing because no one's doing anything. Just work on your art, work on your craft, your book.
Develop new skills, man.
Yeah, fucking Alan over here making cartoons on Adobe Illustrator.
I've had hella people hit me up about that shit.
He's like over here blowing up as an illustrator and shit.
Bro, I had no idea.
You should be my next cover art, Alan.
I'm gonna work on yours. But right now I'm doing a Kobe one, and this Kobe one is kicking my ass because of like the 5 o'clock shadow. Like, people wouldn't know, really understand what I'm talking about unless you get into it. But
Kobe had a clean 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
It's hella difficult. It's hella difficult doing it though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think you should get inducted into the 5 o'clock shadow Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah. Shout out to Kobe, 2020 Hall of Fame inductee, man. Rest in peace. I bet LA was crazy out there, when that happened.
It was nuts, dude. It was
nuts, right?
Great. I went to the Staples Center like a couple weeks after it happened to go to the memorial and stuff, and literally thousands of people. It was all yellow and purple, all Kobe jerseys. It was crazy.
That's awesome. He deserved it. He deserves it all, man. He's
absolutely.
He's a trendsetter. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a GOAT, bro. He's a GOAT.
I can't think of anybody who to a city means more to Kobe. You could go to any city in the world, and when you mention Los Angeles, people think of Kobe.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, for sure. But Christian, we have a tradition here on Toast to the Goodfellas. Every episode, we ask our guests to make a toast to Southwest Florida. And even though you're not in Southwest Florida yet, you said yourself, you always represent Southwest Florida. So, and you definitely going to be back. So we want you to give this toast as well. So we're going to ask you the same question. You ready for it?
What's up?
So if you could make a toast to Southwest Florida, what piece of advice would you want to give to them?
If you're a young creator in Southwest Florida and you have an idea of somebody you want to be, don't doubt it. Don't doubt it at all. Believe it like it already happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my toast. Believe it like it already exists, and you'll find it. It's not up to you how you get there. It's just up to you what that destination is. Figure out what the destination is. It ain't up to you how you're going to get there. The universe, God, whatever you believe in, will figure that out.
I love it. And nothing against all the other guests who have made toast, obviously has been a little longer, but sometimes less is more. But those are really powerful words,
Absolutely.
Chris right now.
Absolutely.
Less is more sometimes. Chris, bro, where can they follow you? And do you want to give any shout outs to anybody here locally, any creators, musicians, in any type of industry?
They can find me everywhere on social media. I am Chris Catlin, or Instagram, I'm Stream Chris Catlin. Chris Catlin. Or you could just pull me up at chriscatlin.org or just Google my name. Either one will guide you in the right direction. Really, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all the people who are really trying to grind and get this. Shout out to the people that support the Toast of the Goodfellas. Shout out to people that support me. Shout out to
the frat for Founders Day.
He told me to shout him out.
What? Shout out to who?
Shout out to Marv because he told me to shout him out.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to everybody. The bros, the frat, y'all. You know.
Yeah.
We still got time to wait.
Yeah.
We wrapping up, bro. We wrapping up.
Yeah. We wrapping up, man.
This ain't gonna be the last time we talk, dog. We gonna get
man.
you back.
Come on now.
Okay.
We gotta keep you,
bro.
Yeah, don't be sad. You ain't leaving us, bro.
Sad. I ain't ready. I'm locked up in the room all alone. Y'all are my only social interaction today, bro.
Bro, that's crazy, bro. We excited to see you again, dog. We can't wait for this coronavirus shit to get the fuck up out of here.
Definitely.
But anyways,
what do you want us to play, man? What do you want us to play?
Like Gyal, dog.
Gyal.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. We'll play a Gyal.
Yeah.
Little shawty got a hold on me. Let's stay up all night, sunrise mañana. Little shawty got a hold on me. Little Africana, sweet like banana. Move it, girl, the way you whine it, girl. It's perfect timing, girl. Ooh, don't remind me, girl. The way you move it, girl. The way you whine it, girl. It's perfect timing, girl. Ooh, don't remind me, girl. Oh, mama, why do you do this to me? I know you want it, you can't just leave. Oh, mama, why you so sweet? I don't need nothing, you make me free. Shawty been rocking with me, just like the waves on the beach, feet in the sand. Girl, you could crash, link up with me anytime that you please. You could be Miles, I could be Pops. I think I'm wildin', girl, I need to stop. I'm shooting shots, pass me the rock. I know this drink got me talking a lot. Move it, girl, the way you whine it, girl. It's perfect timing, girl. Ooh, don't remind me, girl. The way you move it, girl. The way you whine it, girl. It's perfect timing, girl. Ooh, don't remind me, girl. Oh, mama, why do you do this to me? I know you want it, you can't just leave. Oh, mama, why you so sweet? I don't need nothing, you make me free.